Well, this is pretty interesting day. Baylor hires Doug McNamee, and that's got to be a pretty cool thing for you, having had him as part of your basketball program all those years ago. I mean, not, Scott, that you and I are old at all, but he would be a little bit younger than us. He was a student associated with so this has to be with the team. This has to be one of those crazy full circle moments for you. How much? I know you're excited for him. How much input did you have in this? Did President Livingstone since you have known him forever, were you asked about this, or how did that all go down?
Well, the great thing is President Livingstone does her job. I do my job, and her and the committee did a great job in selecting not only a Waconian, but a Baylor through and through man, and somebody that she didn't have to ask my opinion because most people at Baylor and most people in town know about him. The great thing is the path that God always has for people. I mean, he was in the athletic department with Ian. He was in the athletic department with Mac. But then he was in the business world, and his connections in the business world are phenomenal. He understands the mission. He understands all the Christian businesses out there that we can tap into, as Baylor being one of the leaders in Christian education, the largest Baptist school in the nation. And nowadays, as we all know, with NIL, with the portal, that kind of marketing resources and everything is, you have to have it to compete. And at the end of the day, Baylor has been unbelievably blessed with a great track record with athletics. And I think the future is extremely bright now with somebody who's well versed with, again, corporate America and just how things have shifted in that dynamic.
When did you first meet Doug? And do you remember that? And what stood out about him, even as a very young man?
Well, when we first got the job here, Doug was one of the first people that we met, and somebody that so respected in the athletic department realm for being extremely hardworking, diligent. Somebody that gave, I think, Coach Driscoll his first tour around the Farrell Center. But after that, I know Doug moved over to baseball, helped out Coach Smith. They had unbelievable success there. Got in the athletic department. But he's been somebody that if you're a Waconian or a Baylor alum, it's highly unlikely if you spent much time around Baylor athletics or the university, you didn't know Doug or somebody that knew Doug. And again, it's a really a special time to have somebody back leading Baylor athletics. And I've been extremely blessed to work for Ian McCall and Mack Rhoades, and two of the best athletic directors, so widely respected in the profession. And nowadays, with the ever-changing entrepreneur climate, I mean, it's a perfect opportunity in God's plan with Doug. So let me flip it back. What do you think about Doug McNamee coming home and helping lead the department?
No, I like it. I like Doug a lot, and you're right. He was a bridge. He's been out of it, and I think that's, people will have criticism about that. He's been out for about 8 years, but he's been at interesting places, and Magnolia has become a huge deal, I know, both locally and nationally. And then, Field and Stream's a well-known brand. So what I'm trying to lean into is kind of what you're saying, is that maybe NIL, and maybe you'll have some fresh ideas, and maybe it's okay to have stepped away for a little while. I think in our world, Scott, when we have somebody that's not in the fold or has been in college athletics for a number of years, it's like if somebody got out of coaching for 8 years, we'd be like, what are they doing? So I think there'll be some skepticism, but that's okay. I think he'll be able to I think he'll be able to handle some of that. I mean, I guess you'll let him have one day before you tell him what you need for NIL and portal and all that stuff. But I mean, I would imagine that's huge because football's had its issues and they're having to decide what to do with that program, and that's huge. But you've got to take care of your program too, Scott. I mean, how do you? But that'll be, I guess that will be nice to have that built-in long-time relationship, and hopefully that kind of helps you hit the ground running, because it's never enough, is there? It's not like, we've got more than we need in NIL or portal. You never end up like that.
Well, I think I'll just sum it up this way. Brad Yarmark wasn't a commissioner, and he's done a lot of great things for the Big 12. And he came from the entertainment industry. Charlie Baker, he was in politics, and I know he's fighting and clawing and trying to do things. You look at Stanford; they just hired the Nike executive as their new AD. If Doug didn't go in the business world for the last 8-9 years and experience all that, I know for a fact he wouldn't. For me personally, he wouldn't be as qualified or equipped to lead us from the standpoint. Let me ask you. If I said, what's one thing you could have? You would say, give me the resources I need to be successful. And that's what every coach in modern day NIL portal is asking. Like, just give us what we need, and it's our job to get it done. And Baylor University has more than enough resources, but more importantly that we represent. I mean, look at all the Christian organizations out there. Look at from the Hobby Lobbies to Chick-fil-A's to different things like that. I mean, many hands make light work, and there's a lot of resources and opportunities for us to tap into.
Was he more important to the program than Kevin Gall? Who was the better student worker manager of those two? And was he a little less chatty than Kevin, perhaps?
Yeah. Well, Kevin is the one that we had the pleasure of working with. Doug actually worked with the basketball before we got in, and when we got here, he had already been. Steve Smith was smart enough to get him in. Before we had an opportunity to have him a part of our program. But again, he's a Baylor guy. There is, as you know, in life, it could be whatever. 50% are happy with it, 50% are upset with it. I just know for people that know him, there's no doubt the sentiment is he's going to be extremely successful. And again, landscape and everything has changed. How we do things has changed. And his 8-9 years away and learning the business side of things, that to me made him an unbelievable hire by President Livingstone. And the easy thing is always to do the path that most people are following. At the end of the day, few people win. So you can't do what everyone does and separate yourself. Sometimes you have to have the aggressiveness and the foresight and the knowledge to think outside the box. And I mean, that's what I think we did here, and extremely excited to work with Doug as far as what all us coaches need. You know what? He knows, first of all, because he's worked in athletics, he knows what coaches need, want, prioritize. Most of all, he knows about the Baylor mission. We don't have to be apologetic for who we are, what we are. Embrace it, love it. People that God calls to be here, that's who we want here. And extremely excited.
Can you get us a big man, by Wednesday?
We'll see how good he is.
Okay.
An AD, right?
All right. Well, I this is rare for me. I'm going to try to be efficient with you. Last thing I had for you, first true road test, real quick on the going to Memphis. Some good moments in that game. Pretty. It was very close, and then they get it there at the end. Poor shooting night. I mean, I think it's rare you're going to have the guy who's been your top scorer go 3 for 15. You had another 2 for 10 type performance from one of your better players. What's your biggest takeaway in how they performed in that one on CBS on Saturday?
Well, I think defensively we did we did a lot of good things. If we take away the second chance points, our defense would have been phenomenal. I thought in a close game, you have to make free throws. We missed 4 front ends of 1-on-1. That's 8 points right there. You're going to win most close games if you make free throws. You're up 1 with 5 to play. And at the end of the day, we didn't close. Normally, that first true road game is really hard to play in just to get used to things. And playing in Indianapolis helped get us a little bit ready for that. But at the same time, it wasn't the type of atmosphere that probably I was hoping for to really get you ready. And we didn't respond down the stretch in a way that we needed to win the game. At the same time, you want to be in those environments and those situations now because you're in them every night in conference. But Mosley, you've been around sports a long time. At the end of the day, close games usually come down to free throws, and you got to be more efficient on the line. I got to put our guys in better positions in practice to get ready for that. And at the same time, we had 18 rebounds. They had 18 rebounds. They were more efficient with their offensive rebounds than we were and scored more points. And thus, those two factors contributed in a large way to the outcome of the game. You're going to have off shooting nights. Make free throws. Don't give up second chance points. We win the game by 10. Everybody's happy.
Scott, thank you for doing this. It's weird that people 10 years younger than us are becoming ADs. I don't know how to feel about that. I'm just trying to process it all. But anyway, we now or you report to Doug McNamee. So get ready for it. Okay.
Hey, extremely blessed to be able to report to him. So it's a great day at Baylor University. Let's go Bears.
Okay. Thank you, Scott. I'll talk to you soon. There he goes. It was quick. We had a bit of a hard out. I almost did that, Scotty. We didn't, tried. Might have gone a couple minutes over, but hopefully don't get my my hand slapped too hard there. But not hearing myself, Scotty. Whatever you just punched. There we go. Right back with you here on the Mosley Show. And man, some interesting things there from Scott Drew. Not the least of which I do need to talk hoops at some point because there are a couple of concerning things, but then, they were right there in that game. I love how Tunde is not, it does not, a road crowd or whatever, that didn't bother him. And I like the end of the first half, they found him for a 3. Some of this poor shooting, you just don't want it to keep happening over and over. And some guys are kind of in the tank a little bit. You got to, and they're just very erratic is what I would say. And Tunde's a guy that he may not always shoot it great, but he's going to score. He's going to find a way to impact the game. Carr's like that too, but this was the first game where Carr kind of got taken out of he shot it plenty. I think it was 3 for 15. He ended up with 13 points, but he's, everybody's going to be gunning for him. He's the big scorer. He's 23 points a game. They're going to come after him and they're going to have a plan for him. So what's the counterattack going to be? And you can't just jump over everybody. You're going to have to get him good shots. You're going to have to get him to the rim. You're going to get him in the lane. He's got a good mid-range game. Everybody is entitled to a bad game, but the free throws that's frustrating. When you're in a tight ball game and you start missing the front end of 1-and-1s, these are opportunities. Playing Memphis on the road doesn't kill you, losing the game, but it just is nice to, it would have been nice to get the win. And I don't know how good they are. They lost a great player who was one of the top transfer portal guys, but they've also kind of reloaded. They have some size. They're probably deeper than the Bears. By the end of the year, do I think Baylor can be better than Memphis? I absolutely do. They'll be more battle tested in the conference, but you can also get beat up in that conference. And right now, I think you'd be hard pressed to say Baylor's better than like the 7th or 8th team in the league. Now that could change. Iowa State's just crushing everybody. Iowa State went out and beat somebody else good the other day. It's like 82-59. Cyclones will take. You can come after their head coach in football, but don't come after T.J. Otzelberger in his tight shirt. Man loves a good medium, and he'll put that thing, and it's a tight thing. It cuts off circulation, but he can flat out back it up. He can back it up and get that done. Lots to unpack there as Baylor makes this hire. And this is not going to be a session where Mosley tries to convince you, oh, this is why it's a great hire, all that kind of stuff. I'll discuss my concerns. I'll discuss where I think he can help. You heard the Baylor, what they're going to be coming with hard. You heard it from Scott right there. It's, Scott, hey, he's been around. Scott asked me for my opinion, and I don't mind giving my opinion. I mean, you got a guy that's been out for 8 years. Now, Scott, the way that they'll spin it is, hey, he's been out, and he's better for it. He's better ready for the NIL and the portal because he's been out raising money and raising funding and doing all this stuff. The guy, by the way, he's sold like crazy in his life. He was at the Baylor ISP or whatever it was called. It used to be IMG before it's now Playfly. He did that. And so he rose to prominence quickly in that. Would have graduated from Baylor probably like 2008, somewhere like, wait, no. 2000, he probably got out of Baylor in like 2005. But it sounds like he did some stuff with the baseball team. So he might have been part of that College World Series trip that occurred in 2005, I guess that was. But they had great teams in 03, 05, 2010, 2012. I mean, those were incredible Baylor teams. Even you go back to the late 90s, post Mickey. Yeah. But by the way, Mickey had some incredible teams over the years. You go back to the 70s and then even into the 90s with Topper. And actually, Topper played for, anyway, sorry. I don't want to go off on that. But not Topolsky, but Trozo, Mike Trozo. Wow. Or Matt Trozo. Incredible out there in the outfield. Some of those teams, some of those Mickey teams. And then Sid Hudson would go out there and make a pitching change. And you'd wait. Sid would just kind of trudge out there and be like, Sid, you ever going to make this change? Now, he'd actually just be going out to talk to the pitcher. Sid was, by this time, probably in his late 70s. And Sid didn't move real quickly, but he was a great, great baseball man, great major league guy, had a tremendous history. Baylor baseball. All right, Doug McNamee. So he's got baseball ties. He's got ties to the Baylor basketball program from way back in the day. He was here during the Bryles era. I'll tell you what, let's take a quick break, and then we'll talk more about this hire, what it means to the NIL, what it means in relation to Dave Aranda and his staff. If you don't think I'm hearing from other people around the country that are coaches, well, I am. And it's very, very interesting right now. I think Baylor, as much as I think a lot of us that are within, went to Baylor or love Baylor and all that kind of stuff, we're like, oh my gosh, this thing's burning down. This thing's awful. I promise you, this is still an attractive job. It still is. And I know it because I keep hearing from people. What are they going to do? What are they doing? What are they going to do with Rand? Well, Doug will start answering some of those questions this very afternoon. And believe me, I'm hoping, when they hired Nikki, I remember, man, even before her press conference that morning, we had Nikki on immediately, and that was fun. And I promise you, we'll have Doug on soon because Doug is a longtime friend, and Doug understands the power, not of the Mosley Show, although it is very powerful, but Doug understands media and, how important it can be. And by the way, Mac did too. Mac loved media, and Mac liked doing media. The problem became Mac was way more vocal and way more like the face of the program than Coach Aranda.